Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Raw Talk with Tanta KD. I'm happy you guys are here again to listen to this podcast. I had actually been 5 weeks in Ecuador, and for those of you guys who don't know where it is in South America on the west side. Very beautiful place, and it was crazy because when I had got back from Ecuador, I had got back here to Cologne, Germany. And, I was so excited to be back, eat my German bread and all that good stuff. And started getting back into working out. And then what had happened was I directly got sick. I got bronchitis. And in that moment, I got so upset because I was like, man, I'm trying to do something good in my life. I'm trying to, exercise and all this. And then this thing happens. And, bronchitis, I was really stuck in the bed and it was really bad this year, I have to say. So, and it was one of those things where it kind of got me thinking, um, sometimes I feel like, especially right now, there's so much going on in the world. And one of the biggest questions that I do ask myself many, many, many times is, why is this happening? Either why is this happening to me or why is it happening to that person? And I feel like, to be honest, I'm never really going to get an answer. I really do think a lot about struggling and suffering and all that. And I am a person, I do believe in karma. But at the same time, I also believe that there's bad things that happen to good people. And for example, it's happened to me so many times in my life where people have really screwed me over. Not just a little bit, but like big time. And it was in those moments where I decided for myself, I'm going to go high in this moment because I feel like the universe is going to take care of it. Like the universe is going to handle it. And there's other moments where I'm not like that because it'll be something really small that happens. Like if I'm walking down the street and somebody bumps into me and I'll be like, "Hey," and I'll like be like, "What are you doing?" But it really got me thinking. And I don't know if you guys think about this a lot too, but I wonder, like, why are these things happening? Like, why? I don't get it. And then I also see other people where I feel like they definitely don't deserve what's happening to them. Um so, with natural disasters or somebody's getting really sick, somebody's dying, somebody dies, all these things. And then I got to thinking about, do you guys know when you're walking in the forest, if you're going on like a hike or something like that, and you're just walking on the hike, looking around at the trees? Well, it's in that same moment where you're stepping on ants and you're killing them. And just imagine, they have families, they have cousins, they have aunts, they have uncles. And what's going through their mind? Are they thinking like, oh, why did Aunt Tapunia have to die? Why did this happen? Why? And then it's like, well, I didn't kill that ant because I wanted to kill that ant or I intentionally hurt that ant. It was just something that kind of happened. And I think maybe life can be similar to that, but I still don't know the answers. I didn't figure it out. I never will. It's just something I've been kind of contemplating at the moment. I don't think we're ever really going to have the answers to it. And one of my favorite movies of all times is An Interview with a Vampire. One of the best casts you're ever going to find in your life. You have Brad Pitt, you've got Kirsten Dunst, and you've got Tom Cruise. And this movie's old. I mean, this movie is, I don't know, I want to say 80s or something, the 1980s. I mean, Kirsten Dunst is a little girl in the movie. But one of the famous quotes of that movie is death does not discriminate. Like, death won't just go to you and say, hey, I'm going to get this blonde, you know? No, just going to go and get whoever, you know? It doesn't discriminate. And so maybe that's also how life has been working. I don't really know. But one thing I do know and one thing I have realized is that I do feel like pain and struggles are a really important thing in life, and they're going to be here no matter what. I think it's really important to accept that pain is here to stay. It's a part of life. Failure, you know, it belongs. And I think that we should all kind of not a not invite it, but if it's there, it's there. Because it's going to be there no matter what. You're going to have your pain, you're going to have your struggles. And so don't fight it. You have to kind of, you know, like, don't fight it. You gotta kind of expect it, and don't let it also define your life. You know, I feel like it's a really similar thing to fear. I think fear is also one of those things where, if you also look at why do we have this fear of something, I feel like a lot of the time fear comes from the source of something painful that happened, maybe in your childhood or in your life. When I think of things I'm afraid of, even now to this day, it's because of in the past I had such a painful experience of it. So I think pain is something we shouldn't push away. We should, you know, just kind of accept that it's there and don't let it rule your life. You know, one thing I used to really not like is when people would be like, no pain, no gain. Or what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I used to literally despise those people. You know, there was that famous song with Kelly Clarkson what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And then the Kanye West one, that don't kill you make you stronger. And then I thought about it. It took me years. It literally took me years, but I'm still contemplating that one too. And the reason why is because if I'm in the middle of the woods and literally a bear comes and attacks me and like claws my heart and like claws my face and my lungs and, I mean, bites me and all this stuff, and I'm kind of left there and I'm not dead, but darn near dead in the woods because a bear attacked me. And finally I'm found and the helicopter comes, takes me out, brings me to the hospital. Let's say I'm, you know, in a coma for a while and all that. Well, in that moment, I'm definitely not stronger. The bear almost killed me, but I am not stronger. But what I can say is, I believe that once you decide for yourself, am I going to let this define me, or am I going to try and work through it and do what I can from my side to overcome in a way of acceptance? Because the person that got attacked by the bear, they're always going to have those scars, and they're going to have probably trouble with their heart, trouble with their lungs. Maybe the bear attacked their eye and they can't see in one eye. So that pain will always be there, but it's also about acceptance and accepting that it is there, but it doesn't control me, and I'm bigger than it, and I can make something out of this too. That's something I feel very, very, very strong in, because I had so many years in my life where I thought, man, I had so much pain from my childhood, and I thought, okay, I need this pain to kind of go away, you know? And I thought, once I didn't have struggles from the past and this and that, I thought, then I'm going to have it all figured out, and you know, I'm just going to be able to live my life and everything's going to be perfect. And then literally the day came and I realized, no, the pain belongs just as much as the happiness belongs. Like it really does. It really does, because, you know, pain and beauty, they somehow really do go hand in hand. It's like that line where they say there's a thin line between love and hate. I also think there's a thin line between pain and happiness. We're all kind of, on that fence. And it's funny, if you close your eyes, if everybody just close their eyes for a second, or you don't have to close your eyes, but I want you to picture in your head your favorite fast food restaurant. I'll give you guys a second to think about it. Are you ready? All right. I bet it was not Jack in the Box. That's all I'm saying. Jack in the Box, I guarantee you it was not Jack in the Box. But Jack in the Box, just like pain, doesn't get the credit it deserves for its importance. Because guess what? There's no Taco Bell without Jack in the Box. That's all I'm saying. And you know what? Jack in the Box has some really good tacos there too. I don't know if they still have them because I could really go for those right about now. It's just one of those things, Jack in the Box, and it really doesn't get the credit it deserves because Jack in the Box is like, everybody forgets about it, but it belongs there too. It really does, and you gotta see it for what it is. Do they still have those sourdough burgers, by the way, guys? Could anybody confirm that for me in the comments? Yeah. Um, and another thing that's important to realize is just because you fail doesn't mean you're a failure. I think that we sometimes get mixed up with these things in life. Like, you're not a failure. Just keep going. One of my favorite quotes of all time, it's by Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, for those of you who do not know, is one of my greatest role models of all time. I have idolized him since I was a little kid. I don't know what it is about him, but I just love him so much. And one of the quotes he has that's one of my most favorites is, "I fail over and over and over again, and that is why I succeed." And it's true. It's really true. We learn so much from our failures, from our struggles, from everything. And I don't know if you guys know who Maya Angelou was. She's actually not with us anymore. Her and Oprah Winfrey were very good friends. And there was a story where Oprah said she had called Maya Angelou on the phone and she had said, like, "I'm going through so much right now, Maya," like, because Maya was kind of like Oprah's mentor, and she said, "I'm going through so much right now, like I'm so struggling. I'm struggling so much. Why?" Maya Angelou said to her, "Say thank you. Say thank you. It is so important to be growing. This means it is so important to be struggling. It means you're growing. Like, this is something you should be grateful for. You should be grateful for your struggles." And think of a moment in your life when you were tremendously struggling. And if you look back on it, if you really think about it, depending on which age you were, it could be a pain that you still have, a struggle you still have, something that was really hard for you, or just everyday struggles, really. But I bet that I don't think all of you guys, but I guess the majority of you guys would be thankful. When I think of painful moments in my life, I am thankful for them. Not all of them. Some of them I still get sad about, but not as much. Not as much, but it's a moment of growth. Growth is what we need as humans to live. Growth is such a part of living, and growth can take days, it can take months. It's a repetition. It's like a repetition of things. And if you think of like a butterfly in a cocoon, this is also a moment of beauty. It's a little caterpillar in the darkness, and then it comes to be a beautiful butterfly. Or if you think of a seed that's being planted in the darkness, it's having no idea that it will become something beautiful only to suffer again. Like, let's say it's a tree, right? It's planted in the dark ground. It's going in there. It's thinking, hey, what the heck's going on? Why are you burying me alive? Little by little, it's growing. It's growing in that darkness. And eventually, it gets to the sunlight. It's a huge tree. And then a season comes. And let's say it grows in spring. And it's like, hey, spring, this ain't so bad. You can hear the birds chirping everywhere. And it sees all the beautiful colors of the flowers and the grass. And it grows and grows. Spring and summer are probably its favorite seasons. And then fall comes around and it thinks, hey, why are my leaves falling off? And then in winter, hey, it's cold here. Why am I suffering so much? And then spring comes around and it's this repetition of beauty and pain and beauty and pain. Or when a forest burns down, which is a very tragic thing to happen, but even from the death of everything, there's also a rebirth, like the rise of the phoenix. So, yeah, I like to think of it also like the hero's journey. I might have mentioned it on one of my previous podcasts, but if you have Google, type in the hero's journey, it's basically a repetition of struggles, overcoming, finding hope, doing it over again and over again. It's literally like the Miley Cyrus song. It's the climb, you know. And yeah, and that's another thing is, you know, you see in sports and they always say trust the process, or the biggest one they say is you have to fall more in love with the process than the destination. And I can say it's honestly, it's true. It's so true. Because if you're only focused on your destination, you might end up missing the little things, and the little things are actually the big things. And the little things can lead to big things too. So if you're too focused on looking towards the future, you might miss what's right in front of you. Like when you open the fridge, right? And you're looking for the ketchup. You can't find the ketchup. You're like, man, I need the ketchup. And it's literally right there. But you're so focused on, I don't know what, that you missed that the ketchup's there. So, yeah. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is because, you know, these are things that I'm also learning a lot, and I want to share it with you guys because I think there's a lot of knowledge and wisdom in this, and I'm not going to share anything with you guys if I haven't personally lived it myself. I'm not going to BS you guys. I'm really not. And I just want to share a lot of things with you guys that I'm also learning, and who knows, in 20 years I might say something else about pain. Who knows? But for now, this is how I feel. And I think pain can be a really beautiful thing. So, and here's another thing too is we can't let like the pain stop us from anything. If you just think of when you were a little toddler and you're just learning to walk, right? And you're walking and then you fall, and you're walking and then you fall, walking and fall. But just imagine the first time you fell, or the first time you were struggling or failing, that you just stopped. Where would you be? You'd still be crawling. You wouldn't have gotten very far. And that's the beauty too. That's the beauty, is the pain. It goes hand in hand. It's like the growing pains. They're a part of the process, the feeling uncomfortable. I remember learning how to ride a bike my very first time. It actually, when I was growing up, I had a best friend. I had a couple, but my really good best friend as a kid, her mother taught me how to ride a bike. And let's just say she was not letting up either. I remember I fell so many times. I mean, I was scraping my knees, busting up my elbows, and she was like, "Get back on, get back on." I did not want to. I really didn't. I was like, "I don't need to ride a bike. I don't need to ride a bike." But she was like, "Oh, yes, you do need to ride a bike." And I was like, "All right." And I remember to this day, I'm still so thankful for that, because it's also those people in your life that don't give up on you either in the moments when you feel like you want to give up on yourself. It's the people that kind of push you to say, "Hey, keep going, you got this." And I think the world needs more of that too. I think that we're all, not all, but many of us, were so hard on each other. We're so hard on ourselves. And what if we just kind of encouraged each other a little bit more? Like, or just even said, like, "Oh, good job," or something. The world really does need more of that these days. And that's how I feel. So, like I said, guys, it's really, you're living when you're struggling. Pain is really when you're learning the most. I believe that with my whole entire heart. And the thing with pain and the thing with struggling is, when something bad happens, you have two options. You can either learn from it, or you can let it control your life. You are not your past, and you are not your future. Life is not fair to many people, but you can take your cards and turn your fate and struggles into beauty. Many people do that. The thing is, guys, if you are out there and if you are struggling and if you are in pain, you know, you can you can either make your pain more painful, or you can really turn your pain, like, if you want to make it more painful, you could grab a bottle of whiskey or drugs and add more pain into your life and more suffering, which you can do. I mean, it is a temporary solution. And hey, who am I to judge? I've had my fair share of alcohol, but what you can also do is you can turn your pain into something beautiful. And that's something that I recommend. You can kind of use it like fuel. You can use your pain as fuel to turn your life into something beautiful. So, if you think of your favorite song, I bet you that came from a very painful moment. If you think of Adele's album, Someone Like You, I can guarantee you she was not feeling very good in that moment, and she just got out a pen and started writing down a song. If you think of some of your favorite artwork, that also came from a lot of suffering, from the suffering artist. They turn their pain into beauty. Or one of your favorite books, talking about their struggles, they turned their life's pain into a book. If you take action, no matter how big or small, every day, and just add a little bit more. And a lot of people don't know this, but The Matrix, the movie, how many of you guys like The Matrix? Say yes or no. Yes, no, yes, no. Well, The Matrix, if you Google it, it's actually based on two sisters, transgender, and The Matrix describes their experience of how it felt for them to transition into a woman. And so that was a very tough experience for them. And out of that tough experience, they made The Matrix. Dang. I mean, well done, well done, well done. I mean, I personally like The Matrix. So, yeah, you can, choose your poison. You can either take the green pill or the red pill. But try to choose, good pain and suffering. Working out is a good thing you can do instead of drinking. You can choose to be kind to somebody instead of hurting them. And just really working on yourself to make the world a better place, because it's true, what you focus on does magnify. And if you are in a painful situation, I want you to know it is okay. It really is okay. But try your best not to let the pain and the struggles ruin your life. Honestly, try from the best of your abilities. Try from the best of your abilities to understand that they're there for a reason. You can learn a lot from it. You really can. You really, really, really can. Even just like getting out of your comfort zone, meeting new people. Because at the end of the day, we can't control the world. We can only control ourselves and our actions. And don't let the pain stop you. Really don't. Like, I'm preparing for a bike marathon right now. And I'm realistic. And I think being realistic is also a really important thing. I do believe it's important to aim high instead of aim low. However, I do know I will not be number one in the bike competition. The reason why I am going to be doing it is because I really want to try something new. I want to get outside of my comfort zone. And even the training alone is quite difficult because it's all new to me. I mean, I've always loved riding my bike as a kid, but if you're training for a biking competition, it's something different. But one of the biggest things that I've been doing is just kind of telling myself, like, even if I'm having a day where I'm riding my bike and I'm like, oh man, I just don't want to do this, or man, this is hard. I'm like, yeah, it's supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Literally, guys. Whatever you're wanting in your life, whatever you're aiming for, and if you really believe in it and if you're really passionate about it, go for it. And just know that it's not supposed to come easy. Nothing in life is supposed to come easy. That's the beauty. That's the whole beauty in it. That's what makes life so beautiful. And it's almost like a never ending story sometimes too. If you think of, if maybe your goal is to climb a mountain and you climb to the mountain, you get to the mountain, you're like, well, that's not what I expected. I expected when I got to the top of the mountain that it would be a little bit more, I'd feel more fulfilled. And that can also happen. And then your second question is, dang, I guess I should have enjoyed my walk up to the mountain a little bit more, you know? So that's the biggest thing I've been learning is never give up on yourself. Really, don't give up on yourself. Even if you're struggling, especially if you're struggling, it belongs there. It belongs there. Embrace it. Invite it over for dinner. And tell it to bring some Jack in the Box with it. So, my, I will tell you guys, my biggest pain and my biggest struggle in my life um, has definitely been losing my mother. When I was 6 years old, my mother got very sick with breast cancer. And when I was 8 years old, she ended up passing away. And it's crazy because my life has been filled with a lot of suffering and a lot of pain, mainly just of not having her here with me. It's crazy because people think, oh, the worst moment was probably holding her hand and dying, because I held her hand as she died, and that was a horrible moment. But it's also crazy what comes after. When you think of all the milestones and, the graduations or the moments where you're like, all right, this is like a life defining moment. I'm at a crossroads. Would be nice if she was here, And I have to tell you guys, it's a pain I have. It's a pain I'll always have. It's a struggle. It's a huge struggle. But the thing is this. The thing is this. Life got so much better for me when I was able to work through the pain and process the pain. The reason I say that to you guys is because I do believe there's two roads you can go down. I think I had moments in my life where I really could have gone down the wrong road, and I was kind of teeter-tottering my whole life of I take the bad path or do I take the good path, whatever the good path is, but the most important thing is let me just not end up in jail, or um luckily I was able to do the work, the lots of therapy to work on my pain. And honestly, I feel like that pain and those struggles also allowed me to make my life a little bit more beautiful because I have a different perspective of things, a perspective I wouldn't have if she would still be here. And sometimes we also have to look at our pain, try to see some kind of beauty in it, but also remember in a way that it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be sunshine and rainbows. But it's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. It's really not. And, when I think of my mom, I think the thing that makes me, well, the majority of the time, that does make me sad is that knowing that she's dead. But then I had thought about this actually, which is I should never forget that she also lived. She also laughed. She also had fun. She also probably did crazy things. She had me. And guess what? Her having me and having my brother and sister caused her so much pain, just to be, pregnant and then have the baby come out and all that is a painful struggle experience. But then if you think about it, it led to us. And, I I know that she can't really be dead as long as I'm still alive. So, she's still alive through me, and I try to honor my mother as much as I can. That has always been my biggest goal, is to turn to turn my pain and my struggles into beauty, to help other people. And that's my biggest goal, is that it's not all in vain. So I share all of that with you guys. Not for sympathy, not for empathy. I don't want any of that. The reason why I do share this with you guys is because I want to make it clear to anybody out there, if you are struggling, if you are going through a tough time, I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. I know it's not easy, but do not give up. Do not give up. Learn, don't let the struggles, don't let the hardships control your life, because you have full control of your life. And even if you start with small things every day, like small habits that you can include in your life, starting to go on walks, start meditating, start cooking, start turning your anxieties or things you have into beauty, art, your pain, whatever it is. And also, I think as humans, it is so important that we finally realize we are not alone. We are not alone. We are so connected. Every single one of us is going through something. That's my story. That's my story. And I know other people would come here and I wouldn't want to trade my life with them. So I just think it's important that we all kind of also start being a little bit more honest with each other and with ourselves about our struggles. You know, if you're going to work and somebody asks you how you are, you don't always have to say I'm good. You can say, "Yeah, kind of a tough day." We don't have to be fine all the time. We're not. We're humans. We all have something that we're carrying. And I always say that I believe some bags weigh more, some are a little lighter, but everybody's carrying some. Everybody has something they're thinking about. There's some people where they feel like, oh, they're not good enough because they're never going to meet the expectations of their parents. Or other people are sad because they had a tragedy. They lost somebody very close to them and they just didn't see it coming. And now they're trying to figure out how they're going to handle their life. So I think we should all be a little bit more mindful of that too. I'm going to try and do my next episode, hopefully, about social media, because I do believe social media is not always a great place, especially Instagram, when you see people where they always look like they have like a perfect life. And it's just like, nobody has a perfect life. And, for anybody out there that is going through a tough time, also please remember that whatever you are feeling, that you're not alone in your feelings. And we all have struggles. We're all just out here doing the best we can. Maybe not everybody, maybe 95%, but yeah. So guys, if you think that this episode could help anybody, please go ahead and share it with them. If you want, you can also follow me on Instagram under my name, Raw Talk with Tanta Katie. You can follow me on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. And I wish all of you a very good day, night, whatever it is. And hang on in there. Don't let your struggles get to you, and just know that you've got this. Bye.